Hey there, it's Derek here from Pacific Coast Auto in Japan, and we're looking at a 1998 Subaru Impreza WRX STI Type R. The Type R being the rarer two-door version of the GC8 with the EJ20 flat 4 engine with turbocharger. This is 280 horsepower. We'll take a look at the condition of the car. We're going to be sending this one off to the USA, and these two-door coupes are going to become, if not already, very exclusive, very hard to find, and you got to get them while you can. They are older cars. They're not, all over anymore. Plenty of them have been in accidents. Plenty of them have just gone away due to time. Now, this one has 160,000 kilometers on it. We'll check over the condition of the car, compare it to the auction inspection sheet, and then ship it off to the USA on the next available vessel. So this one being the version 5 of the STI, just like the Evo, the Lancer Evolution 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6.5. This one is a version 5, so close to the final version of the GC8. Has 280 horsepower. The first versions were 220, and then they jumped up to 250, 260, and then up to 280 for the final 3 generations of them. Bigger intercooler on this. You also get a bigger turbo, and that helps you get the extra power. Underneath the hood here, everything is stock, save for maybe these plug wires. And the coolant and the oil both look good. 160,000 kilometers isn't too much for these engines. I know people bag on Subaru engines for being unreliable, but these GC8s are incredibly reliable with the EJ20 engines. They were commonly used for rally racing, and you need to have a reliable engine for that. We've sold probably over 100 of these now, and that's no joke. That's a lot of Imprezas, and we rarely have troubles with them. So this one has the version 5 headlights were taken out to change over to version 6 headlights. We have an aftermarket front bumper, and we have gold BBS forged wheels, which actually come from a Subaru Forester, a special version of the Forester here in Japan called the STB STI, which wasn't a real STI, but it did have cool wheels. So have a quick look at that. Okay, and here's the auction inspection sheet. Before we check the car, let's see what we're checking here. So, 1998 Impreza WRX STI version 5 Type R. The Type R has a couple of really cool things that the other versions didn't get, except for the V Limited versions. You get an intercooler water spray, and so there's a little nozzle in here that sprays on your intercooler to cool it down. You also have a driver's controllable center differential, which is really cool. You get to choose how much slip you get in the center differential between the front and the rear. So if you're actually going to go spirited driving, you can fully lock between front and rear. And these version 5s also came with, I believe, a front differential with an optional rear differential, but you'll have to check that when you receive the car. Okay, this one's an auction grade 3.5 with an interior C. It does have some weaknesses. The biggest weakness on this car is rust. The second biggest is condition of the paint. I'll get those out front right at the beginning. 160,320 kilometers, 5-speed manual, power steering, power windows, and airbag. The sales points are the original aero parts. It's actually not true. That front lip, I believe, is charge speed, but all of the other aero parts are original. And also the headlight covers, the fog light covers, are missing. Those are the authentic version 6 fog lights with the crystal window. Same thing with these ones. The earlier versions had fluting, so you couldn't see the mirrors inside. These are a little bit more modern looking, and it gives you a really nice, good look on the front end. Okay, back to this, and original large style rear spoiler. There are 2 large spoilers like this. The 22B version, and then actually version 5 and version 6 might be a little bit different, just very slightly different. I don't know. Someone in the comments knows. Somebody posts that. I feel like they might be the same. They might be a little bit different, but I know the 22B has a more sleek and designed rear spoiler, and some people have copies of that put onto them. Okay, at 143,261 kilometers, the timing belt was replaced, and so you don't need to do that for a nice little while. It was done in 2021, so regular money was spent on it back 3 years ago. That's good to see. and has history papers from 2015, 2021, 2023. Okay, the report here from the auction inspector, and we want to pay attention to this for the damages. The seat has a rip, steering wheel peeling, interior is dirty, underside surface rust and has been painted, exterior various shallow scratches and paint fade. Right side baffle is dented. This is probably the rear baffle. They didn't actually say if it's a right front or right rear, but the trunk doesn't fit exactly perfectly as a result. Door mirror and wheels scratched. And if you look in the body here, we have C2 over here with the 3 hash marks. So it's a fairly large C2, which is corrosion. And that's the biggest problem on the car, that and the paint fade. A body shop could do the repaint and the rust repair at the same time. There's actually a little bit more rust. And here's something that we put on our website and we encourage people to read before you start buying. All the information that we have on there. We've got a lot of good stuff. But if the car has corrosion on it anywhere, there's likely to be other corrosion somewhere, and the auction inspectors sometimes can't find all of the corrosion on the car. So in this case, there is some more that I'll point out in a second. Front bumper scuff, it's actually fine. Side panels have been painted, and it says U2, A2, U1. Actually, the paint wave is the worst part. There are some dents, and I'll actually just point those out now so that you can see. Like here, Subarus tend to dent. They don't tend to rust. It's kind of funny. This one is rusty, but they don't rust faster than any other car. Actually slower than most cars, but they have a thin metal, and that leads to dents happening pretty easily. Okay, and this fender has been replaced. So let's take you for a tour, and then I'll be nitpicky about the car and show you some of the other problems with it. I think that the car looks awesome on these wheels. We just sold our version 5 Impreza that we've had for like 3 years. And it looks very similar to this. Ours wasn't a 2-door, ours was a 4-door, but we bought the same wheels and took it racing. And these wheels are some of the best value you can get. They're not terribly expensive. I think we bought our set for something like $600. They're forged, they're lightweight, and they're actually fairly small. Like, I think they're only like 6.5 inches wide. And so you put a 215 tire on them. Of course, more tire on an Impreza is nice, but you got to be nice to the gearbox as well. They're not known for holding up to racing that well. So we took it to the race, and everyone was like, yeah, you're going to be in trouble with the gearbox. But we did, I think, like 3 endurance races in the GC8 that had 260,000 kilometers on it, and no problems at all. We did add an oil cooler and oversized radiator for it, but the drivetrain had actually it did have a bit of a problem. Not the transmission, but we blew a CV shaft on the front on one of the races. Anyways, that's not what we're here for. We're going to check this car. So the later model ones had clear lights here instead of orange ones, and I do think that you get a nice modern look with this front end. And the GC8, well, I say modern look. The GC8 is a classic car. Classic rally car. So in terms of paint fade, the front bumper, both front fenders, the hood scoop, and the vents on the hood are all faded. Everything else is glossy and fine. So you'll see here, front fender and front bumper. Not the lip is shiny. And then we have some bumper flex cracks right here. Some fade on these. And these are actually functional vents. You can take out the insert. They have little bolts on the underside, so you can take them out and have a functional hood vent. Basically, they're just there for looks or for homologation for rally racing. A little bit of rust on the windshield wipers, and this is faded as well. Now, coming down the side, this door is not properly on there. Like, the door is actually out further than the fender. And if you look inside, the little latch piece is broken, and that might be part of the issue. Not sure. We also have plenty of scratches around here. This section here for closing the door, and this section here for opening the door. You also have some chipped off paint along here. Ours was a version 5. It also had paint chippy problems, but I haven't really seen it on a lot of the Imprezas, so I don't know if there was a change there or not. There's a section of the side skirt that's worn there, and then the car's just really dirty right now. Got a chip with a little bit of rust right there, and the door visors have been removed, leaving the tape on here. all the way down there. Also, the windshield gasket has cracked. You see here it's like 3 millimeters wide, and then it's nothing here. So there's a bit of a gap there that goes across to about here, where that gasket is broken. I'm not sure if you can replace that gasket without taking the windshield out, though. Then we got a few chips on the roof with a little bit of surface rust. So really the car, in my opinion, really could use a full repaint. With a car as valuable as this, like, you know, I'm pointing out the damages on it, but these two-door Impreza WRX STIs, very, very valuable. You're going to want to spend the money on them to make them nice and clean. Just got some rust there. This wasn't mentioned on the auction sheet, and this falls into the category of rust that you're going to find if the car is already rusty. Now the C2, the biggest problem, let's have a look. Right here has been repaired by a person, it looks like. Some sort of body filler has been put on there and then painted over top of. It looks terrible, and it's going to need to be fixed. The other side is okay. There has been no repairs or rust that happened over there. But this one here has that rust. You can see at the bottom as well, right there. And then here and here and down there. So that's going to need to be replaced. And I am not getting run over by a garbage truck today. Exhaust is an aftermarket Fujitsu unit. I really like how Fujitsu makes exhaust for all of their legacy cars. You can, if you've got an old car from the 70s, you can still get a Fujitsu exhaust because they have like blueprints for how to make them, and we'll just remake you one. A little crack in the spoiler and a scratch that goes along here. And a little crack over here as well. It comes as a two-piece spoiler, and I've actually seen a kit where you can get a little insert that raises the price up, not the price, raises the height up a little bit. Kind of cool little thing. And then has these rear spats on the back. Our race car version got less spats after we raced. There's actually one video on our channel about it, the ice racing one, but then we took it endurance racing after. A little bit of a crack in the taillight there, I'm just noticing. Okay, and yeah, just those little dents in this side here. Now, the other rust that I haven't mentioned yet is inside the trunk. So we'll do that as part of the interior checking. I think, here's the deal with this one. Mechanically good, send it to a body shop, get it painted, and maybe replace the driver's seat because it's kind of nasty. Then you've got a good car. Maybe a few other things if you want to make it a great car. Open the trunk. Now the trunk isn't a perfect fit. Let me actually just show you this. You can see right there. And it actually touches the bumper here. So this is probably the baffle that they were talking about right here. It's also too close. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with the chipped off paint along the sides here, but our race car version of the Impreza had those chips, and our race car version of the Impreza also had the rust that I'm going to show you right now. It was worse on our race car, but right here, you can see someone's repaired it, but then it's cracked since. It's only on this side, and I don't think it's difficult like the Nissans are to fix, because it's not a whole bunch of sandwiched together layers of metal. It's just a one solid piece that is press fit into there. So shouldn't be difficult to fix, I think. But it will look nasty in the process of fixing it. The interior of here is fairly clean. Some of the liner doesn't pop in properly because the little pieces are missing. Right there and right here. And then underneath here has a little bit of like I think water has maybe been able to get into here because this board is a little bit warped. And you pick this up, you can see little gribblies of rust there. They probably come from this. Actually, some repair has been done to this part here as well. And then, yeah. So you can see that bright orange color that comes from like the rust somewhere. You look in here and like it's a little wet. There might be some more rust in there, so something to check. My rule of thumb is keep the rusty cars to Land Cruisers or super old cars, and the Impreza's getting there. Something like the Land Cruiser, when it gets rusty, Line Cruisers are always worth throwing money at, no matter what the condition. Imprezas can be hit and miss. I don't think this one's too far. Okay, now door card here. Hard pressed to get door cards for these because they're so big. Not that they're big, they're rare and they're different from the 4-door. Little dents in the side of this, and a teeny little cigarette burn right there. Otherwise fine. Has the original seats in it. Driver's seat's in rough condition. It looks like it's fairly worn out, while at the same time has several cigarette burns. These aren't terribly expensive. A lot of people with Imprezas will put in aftermarket seats, and as a result, you can usually get them. The only thing is they change seats frequently, so it's hard to get an exact same one as the passenger seat, so you have to see what's out there. Or you can just go aftermarket seats. So we got a rip here, and kind of a sagginess. Some of the foam is missing. A little wrinkle there. This section here is all worn shiny. It's kind of weird. Little wrinkle here. A couple of cigarette burns down there. A couple more teeny ones there. And one here of all places. I don't know how you get a cigarette burn there. Also a little bit of pilling here. So yeah, the seat does distract away from the car. If you were to just do the body up, the seat would, yeah, people would be like, yeah, cigarette burns. The interior doesn't really smell of cigarettes. I don't think the previous owner was a smoker. Maybe he was. Maybe he quit. We got some wear in the steering wheel around here. From the version 4, you got these really nice gauge set with the different size gauges instead of the 1, 2, 3 of the early ones. And the tachometer being right in the middle is perfect. You also have this, which is a display for your driver controllable center differential, and it has different steps for how locked you want it to be. Very cool. Intercooler water spray on demand or automatic, which is very cool. I'm not sure what the AP fan is. Maybe air purifier? I didn't think you can get those for the Impreza. Floor mats appear to be good. That's nice. A short shift kit, which actually might be part of the Type R kit. This is shorter than the 4-door versions. Has an aftermarket CD player. Cigarette lighter and ashtray have been used. AC works nice and well. You get a cup holder in here. And then this box, the hinges on it are broken and it's cracked. We used to have one of those for our race car, so we put some gauges there instead. Okay, controllable center differential switch. Cool. And then power folding mirrors and a console. Not all of them got the console. Oh, console can't latch. Okay, you also get an auxiliary glove box over there for your rally notes, right? And back seats. There you go. Okay, so I think that is basically it for this review. A bit of cracking there in the antenna case. If you have any questions, feel free to let us know. You can check out our website. There's a link to that in the description to the video. And then we've got a contact forum on there so you can ask us questions and whatnot and how you can get yourself a GC8 from auction. That's all for this one. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching and have a nice day.